welcome to the sports show. Mike Max, Patrick Royce, Louis Nanny back after a sabbatical. Was him to South Africa for a while. He's back from a safari. And Sid Hartman. Sydney, have you ever wanted to go on a safari to Africa and check out those elephants and giraffes up close?
No, I remember Dick Lurie. Did you know Dick Lurie?
Yeah, I knew Dick, yeah.
Dick Lurie was an accountant in town, and he went on several of those deals. And in his office, he had a tiger, he had a lion.
What'd you tell him about that?
And I'll tell you what, one night a janitor went in there and he had a heart attack.
I saw you at Como Zoo, though. You used to like the animals.
Oh, yeah, he walked through there once in a while.
As long as they're in a cage.
You know why?
I won't go to the Como Zoo.
Where'd you go?
I went to South Africa.
That is where he
Where
went.
do you go?
Well, you're setting a record for traveling.
I don't go to the Como Zoo because they got apes, and you look at them and you know that you're talking to Grandpa, man. They are. Anybody who doesn't think we're related has never looked at these people.
Sid goes there because it's free.
That wouldn't interest me.
Hey, the Wild win, the playoff game.
Yes, wonderful. It was a wild afternoon, and they really played. They took it to them. First two games, they never had the puck. Today, they had the puck. They almost dominated the puck. They hit them. They knocked them all over the ice, and they were the better team.
Well, they could have won the first game. They played well in the first game. They didn't have the majority of the play, but they had enough to win.
Yeah.
And they could have won in overtime. Zucker hits the crossbar in overtime. Today scores the winner. And today they really played well. They just played every facet of the game the way they have to play it against Chicago, except the power play.
Except, like you said, the last 5 minutes of regulation, they really took over.
Yeah, there were not many people thought the Wild were going to win the game after.
No, because they
Duncan
sat back. They sat back and tried to play defensive and just were, continually just trying to get the puck out and not doing anything with it. You keep giving Chicago the puck, you're going to give them chances. They're going to score a goal.
You get to overtime, you got a 50-50 chance.
Right.
I've always thought the other team could have,
it's a matter of one slip up.
Boom. Yeah,
and that's
Zucker, I still don't know how that shot went in from that angle, do you?
Boy, he got it up high and over the shoulder in the corner, and he got it away real quick.
Like
He's
him?
a goal scorer. I really like him.
The hands.
He is so quick that he always causes problems with his quickness, and he shoots. He loves to score goals. He's a shooter. You don't have to tell this kid to shoot the puck, which is great.
About?
Zucker. And that's why goal scorers always get the most shots. If you go back in time and look at the leading goal scorers in the league, they're always amongst the best in shots. In fact, one year, Esposito probably led by over 100 shots.
Because they're looking at the net all the time.
And Mike Bossy, Dino Ciccarelli, guys like that, you never had to tell them to shoot the puck. They shoot the puck and they put it on the net.
Sid, were you satisfied? You like the playoff hockey?
I was just telling him before we went on the air that playoff hockey is so different. It's no different than NBA basketball. Some of those NBA games during the season are a joke. And they get in that playoff, and it's a lot different thing.
So Louis, have the Wild achieved what you thought they would have, underachieved, overachieved? What category do you put them in to date?
They've achieved what I thought they. I mean, they could have ended up a little higher. They finished up the season.
I think they probably wanted to be top 4 or top 6 at the most.
Well, yeah, because you don't want Chicago as a matchup.
Right.
I mean, let's face it, Vancouver's not burning the league up at the end of the year. Anaheim, even though they're a good team, I think would have been an easier matchup for the Wild to win games than it is against Chicago. Chicago's probably the best team in the league.
Yeah.
They certainly got the best defense in the league. And the top 2 lines can match up with anybody. The only top 2 lines that probably match as well is Crosby and Malkin from Pittsburgh. But Pittsburgh right now, their goaltending's not great, and their defense is adequate. Letang's back, that helps.
Well,
but
Crosby's
they're not
back. What, do you have 3 assists today?
Beat Edmonton on that Friday night. You get to play Vancouver, and you're probably going to advance.
Yeah, you got a chance to advance.
That's right.
Because Edmonton's down. I mean, Vancouver lost 2 home games to San Jose.
Yeah, you're right.
Nick Leddy played 16.5 minutes today.
Good player.
He's in there key situations.
Well, he's a good player. He's got great skating ability, great hands, good vision of the ice, and he's playing better defensively. He's learning as he goes along. He's a very good player. He should play.
That was a great trade they made.
Everybody makes bad trades.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Not you. You never made
Let me tell you, the last guy that didn't make mistakes on the cross. Everybody else makes mistakes.
We had an owner who was early in his tenure when the Leddy trade was made, and he wanted to make the playoffs. And he said, "Get me a veteran defenseman," and
they found one.
And they wanted Leddy. So what are you going to do?
Well, and at that time you have to remember the Wild had a lot of young defense prospects, and they thought maybe Kuma might come, and certainly Scandella's come, and he's played very well, by the way. Scandella's done well, so they thought they could afford to give up a young defenseman because they wanted to make the playoffs at that time.
Excuse me, how good is Gilbert?
Which Gilbert? Tom
Gilbert.
Well, Tom's he's a fifth, sixth defenseman they got in the team right now. Because their top four is playing very well. Sutter is Suter's. He's as good a defenseman in the league right now.
Right.
How many minutes we get out of him today? I haven't looked at the box score.
I think he was over 30 again. And Brodin has been unbelievable for 19 years old. Spurgeon's been pretty solid all the time, and Scandella's come and played very well. So there's your top four.
Okay, so then tell me why they're an eighth team. I mean, you hear this all the time. Suter, Parisi played well. Are we just talking about the second and third lines, more production from in the fourth line?
Well, they didn't score a lot of goals this year, and that's, they need deeper scoring balance, and that's what they'll probably adjust.
Simple, though?
Well, it's not simple.
Not simple, but I mean, you know where you got to.
Yeah, well, Zucker's come up as
and if
he's developing,
healthy,
Coyle's developing. Now, just imagine if you had Heatley and Pominville. You're not going to lose all those games at the end of the year. Those are two pretty good guys, and they give you a lot more scoring.
Take a break, come back, stay with us. Idiots, locally owned, nationally known, and they got some good steak over there. Go over to the ballpark, stop by on your way to the Wild game Tuesday night. It is the place to be.
I've been expanding my horizons from the old just getting pork chops.
Yeah.
It's the crab cakes and everything. Very good.
How you like the crab cakes?
Ooh, beautiful.
So take me back. Heatley and Pominville. If you got them and you got Backstrom, where are you at here? Same place?
Well, no, they wouldn't be playing Chicago. They'd have been playing probably Vancouver, which is a big difference.
Yeah, so now you really can.
Heatley's really good in tight spots. He's a good goal scorer, and he's good in the power play. And Pominville's good all around. He can play the power play, kill penalties, the regular line. So you put those two guys in the lineup, and they're going to be in your top three lines. So you got much more balanced scoring.
And the good thing about playing the Blackhawks here, if you can play 6 or 7 games and somebody hits somebody with a stick, then when you go in the division next year, you got a rivalry.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking.
This is where the rivalries, the playoffs make rivalries.
They create them. That's why Vancouver was the closest thing the Wild had to a rivalry for a while because they won 7 games.
2003.
But going forward, this is the best thing that could happen to the Wild and the Blackhawks this series.
By far, and you have to remember, Vancouver rivalry was never going to really be a big rivalry because there's 2 hours difference in time.
And they
don't watch your games at night.
Right. And you had to play them in the playoffs for it to matter.
Chicago,
Vancouver
that rivalry will develop again just through this playoff series. It's going to start because the games are great, the teams are going to be excellent to watch, and it's going to become more physical.
But there's nobody to curse on that team. They don't have a C cord. They got these guys. They want, if you let them, they'll go up and down the ice with you for 60 minutes and not hit anybody.
Well, now in the playoffs, but they got a couple guys that they're not dressing right now that you would like to curse at.
A couple of goons?
Yeah.
I talked to Taves after the game, Louis. I think they just poked a bear and woke him up.
Well, they might, but don't forget.
Yeah, that's what happened.
You could talk about it, but the Wild still playing very well, and I expect them to play well again on Tuesday night.
Sid, Tuesday night, what do you expect? You've seen a lot of hockey playoff games in your life. How do you handicap this one?
I think the Blackhawks will win about 6-1 Tuesday night.
Why would you say that, Louis? Why would you say that?
Because I think they just took it for granted today. I think they got, I don't know anything about hockey, but everybody tells me they're the best team in hockey. Here's a team that lost 3 of the best players in the country off that Stanley Cup team. And still they come back.
Well, yeah, but
they're great.
They had a couple of off years.
Scotty Bowman's kid, is he a pretty sharp guy?
Yeah, he's very sharp, and he's done a good job. But the 3 guys they lost were not 3 of the best in the country. Bufflin was a good one. But the other 2 were good players, not great players. You had Versteeg, who's been traded 3 times since then, and you had Andrew Ladd, who's a checker, a worker, and he's been replaced. So they made the right decisions. They kept the right guys, and then they filled in the holes. So they are a great team, but I'd be very surprised if they beat the Wild.
If you got the best team in the NHL playing the worst team in the NHL, it's going to be 4-2. Yeah. I mean, it's not like, this is hockey. Yeah. This is not, there's very few mismatches.
I mean, if your goaltending goes bad, it could happen. But
What about their record the last couple weeks?
Well, who cares? It's starting. What about their record for the 11 games before that?
are they
Sure,
worse than
they
that?
had a bad 2 weeks. So what?
Yale lost to 5 games in a row before the NCAA playoffs, and they won the championship.
Yep.
Well,
People do get,
But what
they
you're
bounce
saying, Louis,
back.
too, is you like the Wild for next year, too.
Yeah, I really like their team. We sit here talking about that the Wild are going to be outclassed that easily. Some people picked the Wild to win the Stanley Cup this year.
Yeah.
So
You did.
people,
started.
not me, no, but
I thought you
Barry
had 'em
Melrose
close.
did. No, I had them being a very good team. I had them a playoff team.
Okay.
I never picked a position because I still think they need a couple things on the team. But they're a good team to watch. They're a good team that's going to be a factor. When they play the way they can play, they're very good. They got a lot of skill in their team. They got a lot of speed. And they're a fun team to watch.
Joe good? Is he going to be saved by just getting in the playoffs and taking it to 6 games, you think?
I would think so, but
He can
I don't
coach,
make those
Louis. He can
decisions.
coach.
Yeah, I don't know why they're going to make a change. I don't see it.
No, this guy can coach.
what's amazing is turnover there's been since this new guy, what's his name, the owner took over.
Leopold.
There's 5 players on the Wild team. 3 were, I think 2 or 3 were in the 203 playoff, and a couple more in the 208.
Oh, Bouchard
There's
was
5
kinda
players
dressed up
that were in
nice,
the 2 playoffs.
That's
every team,
and that's
right?
why they're missing the playoffs. They had to make some changes.
5 years.
Yeah.
That's 5 years ago, the last time they made the
Yeah.
playoffs. NHL, everybody changed.
By the way, you got to know Leopold. You like him, the owner of the.
Pardon me?
You've gotten to know Leopold, and you like him.
Well, like I say, it's a lot different hockey when the playoff hockey.
Okay.
Well, if you don't like
back to
Leopold,
that.
if you don't like Leopold, you're not trying.
Yeah,
He's a bit of a
he's a
character.
great
Well, yeah,
great
when
guy.
Sid found out about that statue.
He's a great
Real
guy.
Finance. Take a break. Come back. There it is, Audi Minneapolis. Stop on by, visit with Bruce Bonine. Check out those vehicles. They move fast because they are built for you. And I tell you what, there's nothing like an Audi, especially this time of year. Welcome back to the Sports Show. Sid, there's a new person running the Minnesota Timberwolves, Flip Saunders.
Well, I think he'll do a real good job with them. I really do. I think he's very good in personnel. Don't forget, when he coached, they made a playoff every year. I mean, that was a joke that you and Dave Lee and myself sat and talked to Mr.
Glenn Taylor last summer.
Mr. Taylor for 2 hours.
And he hinted that this could happen.
Huh?
He hinted that this might happen.
And it was going to happen all the time. There's no doubt about it.
No.
But the thing that he talked about is that Kevin McHale told
Glenn
that he had lost control of the team.
Yeah.
Which was a joke. He had
Flip
the year
deserved to
before,
get. He
went
deserved
to
to
the
get
Western
fired.
Finals. He never loses.
I love him, but he deserved to get fired. They quit playing for him. They went to the Western Conference Finals, and the next year they were, 21 and.
And at that time,
They didn't quit playing for him.
They quit.
They had 2 guys because
quit?
he didn't get a contract.
Cassell Spree?
Yeah.
That was the reason. It had nothing to do with him.
Well, but you got a team that went to the conference finals one year. You want to try to make the playoffs. They had no choice.
Let me ask the real question. Yeah,
They wouldn't give Spreewell and
Yes.
the money.
Yes.
So they would quit playing.
Ironically, later,
What did I just say? Didn't I say they quit playing?
His staff.
That wasn't Flip's fault.
Okay. The question you asked, I asked, that we never really got the answer. Is Flip done coaching, or do you think he's eyeing the coaching seat?
I don't think that job is in modern sports, Louis. You know enough about hockey. You know enough about all the sports now. I don't think it's compatible to be the head of the personnel and the coach. I don't think it's compatible. Even Popovich in San Antonio doesn't do it anymore. Nobody does it anymore.
But, Louis, you've said guys are either coaches or they're managers. Maybe he doesn't know yet, but he's going to find out.
Well, if he tries to do both, he's going to find out.
But he's going to find out.
But he's going to find out anyway. Yeah, with a different job.
He's not coaching.
Yeah, and that's the thing you have to wonder about, because coaches and career coaches really love to coach.
You're right.
They really want to coach more than being a manager.
Immediate gratification is what they want.
You could think that you can do both jobs, but you can't.
But if Adelman comes back, he'll know that the coach is smarter than he is. So maybe that'll make him. I think if it was Bill Banow or Terry Porter or something, he might be sitting there saying, what's this dummy doing? But he won't be doing it with Adelman.
But what I'm saying is, okay, Adelman says after next year, you know what, guys, I had my run. does Flip really want to coach ultimately?
That's what I'm saying. If just say Adelman's wife, something happens to her, and he decides he's not coming this year.
Yeah.
Now, is Flip going to say I'm going to do both jobs? I hope not, because you're not going to do both jobs well.
I don't think Edelman's coming back.
Well, then Flip shouldn't.
You don't?
No.
So you think Flip's going to do both jobs?
I just think the kind of thing she's got is scary.
They sure sound encouraged, though, everybody that you talk to about it.
He's on a road someplace, and she has one of those seizures where she can die. I don't think he's coming back.
I think he is.
Everything you're hearing is that they were getting good reports from your place mail. So they didn't. He's a lifer. He's 67 next month, and he can't give it up.
And let's get real honest about this: is what he makes. You can hire somebody to stay overnight and make sure everything's okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Just what he said.
He's
67, he can't give it up. Coaches that love to coach can't give it up.
And I think Flip's a coach.
And that's right. But if he is, then he's going to have to give up the president
he's
job.
gonna have a tough
it's a big mistake. It's going to be a mistake. It's going to be a big mistake.
He's coming to town this week to meet with Flip for a couple of days. We'll see what happens.
And then they're going to go to Chicago and start looking at players.
I think this would be the easiest stretch. Everybody thinks there's going to be tension between them. I think it's going to be. I think it's.
I don't think it'll be tension.
Old coaches. I think it'll be great. I think you got two guys.
I think Flip is a sharper guy as there is when it comes to personnel.
And you know something else about Flip that you got to say? He is. I don't think I've ever met a basketball junkie. Like, I mean, he literally, when he's home, will go to a high school game just because he loves basketball that much, you know? I've never seen anybody like that.
Let me tell you.
Louis goes to 23, 230 high school games a year. It's all his grandkids.
Yeah, he can't afford otherwise.
I've watched him for a long time. Chad was broadcasting the games
CBA.
for his team when he was in that CBA and all those teams. And I'd go there, and he's got these books, and he's got all this stuff.
He's a junkie.
He's a junkie from the good.
You know what's amazing, though? Our guy Mussy, man. He's got quite a coaching tree, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has.
Flip, Thibodeau, Scotty Brooks. He's got, they're all his guys. Scotty
Brooks just played for him.
But he would have never. There's only one guy in the whole league that he could have played for.
I see what you're saying.
Scott Brooks.
The roster. Take a break, come back, stay with us. Howdy, Minneapolis. Cuisine Concepts. There it is. Happy Mother's Day. Show Mom how much you care with brunch at Bar Abilene. Absolutely. Featuring the a la carte brunch menu, bottomless mimosas, and Bloody Mary bar. For more information, visit barabilene.com or call 612-825-2525. 825-2525. Do something nice for Mom this year. Take her to Bar Abilene for brunch.
I quit drinking so long ago they didn't even have mimosas now everybody does.
I was just going to
have them when I was drinking.
I was going to ask Maxie why he doesn't serve those instead of coffee. Bring them in.
Sid's favorite. Sydney,
they had slow gin back then.
Twins go on the road and lose 4 out of 6. About what you'd expect.
Pardon me?
Twins go on the road, lose 4 out of 6. That's about what you'd expect.
Well, they won 2 games, lost 4. So, I mean, they're certainly doing better than they did last year. And Mr. Mauer's gone in the tank. He's striking out more than he ever struck out before. He was hitting 368 at one time. Now he's down to 260.
Well, 3 for 33 will do that for you.
I never thought he'd go 3 for 33 in his career.
No.
And it's a miracle they win some games without him doing anything.
Yeah.
Buckles tomorrow night, though. The guy from Boston.
Jack Morris says he's greasing that thing up, huh?
He's got a 1.05 ERA so far this year. They got to go in and face Boston 4 games against good pitching. So
yeah, Boston's the team so far.
Well, they have a good pitch, although they just got swept by Texas. But
nobody thought Boston was going to be that good.
Well, Sid, if you can pitch, you can win. It's like if you can stop a puck, you can win.
So what would you do if Backstrom was healthy?
I'd still play Harding. Why would you change? Yeah. As long as Harding's got a hot hand, you got to go with him. You're not going to change.
So then the only way that he plays is if they lose.
Well, stop to think about it. If you change now, if you went from Harding to Backstrom, and Backstrom lets in 2 goals, say, in the first 5 minutes.
See, now you're really in trouble.
Now you're not only in trouble in the game, now you're affecting the guy's mentality. Now maybe Harding loses his momentum coming back in.
I think we got to get removed from this and get this whole playoffs over to appreciate what an unbelievable story this is. Josh Harding doesn't play for 3 months, basically.
Yeah.
He plays 2 games down in Houston, and now he's in there winning a playoff game for you and giving
I
you
believe
a
the best thing that happened to him was he didn't know he was going to play until 5 minutes before that game.
That happened. That's a lot of truth in that, Max. You know, a lot of people are really comfortable coming in and not knowing that they're going to play. They get right in the game and they play well. And
he had Gump Worsley, which was something. He came in there, and that team knew that he was going to help them win.
That should have been Maniago's team. That was a mistake Louis made. They played too much.
I was playing at the time.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
right. They were my teammates.
Well, which one was it? The Giles trade was the one No, who was it you traded? Smith. No, Hartsburg.
No, I
Isn't
didn't
it
trade
true?
Hartsburg. No.
Oh, he retired.
Isn't it true?
He shouldn't have.
That the team had real confidence in him.
Yeah, Gump, if you needed to win one game, he could win it for you.
All right, there you have it. Sports Show. See you back here next week, everybody.